She grabbed my hand, girls rescue, met the bar, women said, tears fled the head, I'm weak, now damn, she sweet, I guess she confessed, she thinking less, not drinking less, bathroom sex, best it gets, spontaneous, I stereotype, put to rest tonight. Imagine, believe, and achieve, it works. Skyline as a rise like fireworks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to season 2 of After the Storm. I'm sorry about the lateness of the game after game analysis, but hey, my first game back, not really getting. I got to get back into the groove of watching the game, putting my notes, getting home, putting everything together. Took me a little bit of time, but we did. We're here, and I want to thank everybody for coming with me to be with me on this edition. Our second season, as a matter of fact, you can see that I clearly went to. I stopped off at Sonic because I had to get my man Ace some hamburgers since I'd been gone since early this morning. I thought the least I could do was take care of my homie and get him squared away, which I did. So here, let me fix this a little bit. There we go. We're now into it. We're going to get there. Thanks for everybody's patience on this first show, but we're going to get there. Thunder, of course, fell tonight to the T-Wolves, 108 to 115. I will say that, I was a little, at the beginning of the game, I was a little worried about the Thunder and what they were doing. Our starting lineup, of course, what we started out with was SGA, Giddey, Dort, Kendrick Williams, and Poku. And, our starting lineup wasn't bad. We got off we scored a little bit, but we kind of got off to a slow start. But that lineup just didn't match up well with them. And you know about sports, it's all about matchups. It's about who matches up with who where. Whether it's basketball, football, or whatever. You can be better than someone, but if you don't match up with them, you just don't match up with them. And the Timberwolves are they're big inside. But let's face it, Karl Anthony Towns does not want to play inside. That's why they got the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert, for him to play. And he was pretty dominant in the first half with the Thunder, because we'll go back over the box score and you'll see what they just absolutely destroyed us in the paint. But I was really pleased with what the Thunder did. And when they came out, you could tell SGA was just rusty. He didn't play all preseason. And as my guy Drew Hinthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com said, that he thought SGA wanted to take the preseason off. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But, the fact of the matter is he did look rusty coming out, but he did get it together and got in midseason form for his, 30th or his 11th 30-point game in the last 14. And like I said before on this show and on my other live stream, the Unpopular Hour, SGA has to score 25 to 27 points a game. He just has to. Because once he does, it alleviates the pressure off everybody trying to do too much. And at the end of the game, if you watched it, we had that stretch down there where we made the run, we came back, and then we'll talk about it. Poku we went to him 4 straight times. 2 of them were air balls, shot at 3. I'm like, okay. And the one time what made me mad was Josh, we're down 3. Josh comes down, we get a steal, and instead of him bringing up, we didn't have numbers, he tries to throw that one-handed cross-court pass. Bro, this is not playing. You're not playing over in the European League. You cannot throw that. Just bring the ball back out. There's a minute something left. We're down 3. Let's get a good shot. But instead, we end up rushing the play going on, and we ended up, Dork, I think, ended up rushing up a shot or whatever. But the ball should have been in SGA's hands. Give the ball to SGA or you, Josh. One of y'all take it. But my problem with Josh is he's not an alpha. He's just not. He's not an alpha. And what alpha means, a guy who can step up, who's going to take over and do what he needs to do. That's not Josh. He is a great role player. He is fantastic getting his points. But, like tonight, we'll go over the box score and what he had. But we need 18 out of Josh tonight. We need 18. We need 25 out of, like I said this, we need 25 out of SJ. We need 18 out of Josh. We need about 14, 13, 14 out of Dort. And then we need everybody else to step up. You need about 12 out of Trey. Wiggins did not play at all tonight. Coach's decision. I don't know what it is with that man, but if they don't like him or if his work ethic is not right in practice, I don't know. I'm not at practice. I'm not the coach, and I'm not one to criticize what a coach plays and who he doesn't play because I'm not there at practice to watch what happens. So I'm not sure what happens. But ID looked good for a while there, and we look good in spurts. But it's all about figuring out what the rotation is. There was a couple rotations in there. I'm just like, why do you have these guys in there? These guys cannot defend. And then they'd go on a run, and then we came back, and then we started with this 3-point thing. I don't know what the philosophy is with the Thunder, where we make the pass, Poku gets it in the middle at the free throw line, and then he passes to the corner for a three. I don't understand the mentality. You've got a point blank range jumper, mid range, 13 to 15 feet. You're right there, but you're going to kick it out to the corner for a 3-point shooter, and we're not a good 3-point shooting team once again. And I've harped on this. When we went on our winning streak at the end, and we were competitive, we weren't shooting a bunch of threes. We're not a good 3-point shooting team. Make the passes. Your mid-range, Poku, shoot that. He didn't even look to shoot. He hit it 3 times, kicked it out to the corner. Shoot the ball. I don't understand that mentality, Thunder. I just don't. I just really don't. But that first 6 minutes, we kind of kept in. But, I mean, I just don't understand what we're doing. I just don't. And my keys to the game, here are my keys to the game. I want to crowd the paint. And the reason why I want to do that, I want to keep Gobert from being dominant in the middle, which we didn't. I want us to don't turn the ball over, which in other words, don't make stupid mistakes, which we did. Don't settle for threes, which we did. Finish at the rim, which we didn't. Now, these are keys to the game that in the future I will be doing these early when the unpopular hour. I will be giving the keys to the game, and I should have did that today, but I just wasn't as prepared as I should have been simply because it's the first time and I just wasn't ready. But Friday I will be on point. With the show will be done early. We'll do what I need to do. We'll get back into that groove where as soon as the game's over if the game's over at 9:45 at 10:30, I will be coming on. It's usually about 30 to 45 minutes after every Thunder game. I come on and do my live stream. And today it's, an hour or so afterwards, and that's my bad, and I apologize for that. But like I said, this is my first time. And the Thunder, 15-5, the turnovers, we just can't give the ball away. And we made some stupid passes trying to overpass. But, once again, SGA hadn't been out there, and we pulled him out. And, at the end of the first quarter, the Thunder were down 35-22. We were 2 of 12 from 3. 9 for 23 overall. 2 for 12. We took 12 threes in the first quarter. And you wonder why we were down 13. Once again, I don't understand. I got all my notes here. Once again, I don't understand the philosophy behind shooting a bunch of threes. We're not very good at it. And, I don't mind if you're open and you in transition and you can't not transition, or sometimes the transition depends on who it is. I don't want Dort shooting in transition. The only people I want shooting in transition is SGA, Giddey, and I would like Muscala to shoot. But Giddey, SGA, I don't mind Poku shooting in transition. He's usually pretty good in transition coming out because he is a transitional type player. So he is pretty good shooting in transition. So I don't mind that. But us catching the ball in the middle and you're point blank range and you're kicking it out to the corner, I don't get that. And I know I'm harping on it, but I don't understand that. You're wide open for a mid-range shot and you want to kick it out and shoot a 25-footer for players who can't shoot? The object of the game is to score. And the reason why the Bulls are so good is because they got a mid-range game. You have to be able to knock down the mid-range shots. When our points in the paint are up, when our mid-range, our shooting percentage is up from knocking down mid-range and not taking 45 threes or 40 threes, but taking 30 to 35. And Drew Hinthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com asked me this morning, today when we were doing the show at Ned's, we should not shoot more than 30, 35 tops. I want us to shoot 33s a game. 35 tops. And that's only if we're rolling, because you're going to get wide open threes and we can shoot them. But my deal is this: pull up, take a couple dribbles and shoot a mid-range. If you're not knocking down the three, get your rhythm down. I tell my kids all the time, if you're missing shots, get into a rhythm. Shoot a mid-range. Go to the line. Get a foul. Get your rhythm down at the free throw line. Pull up and shoot a mid-range. You don't have to shoot threes. You can have a mid-range. Knock down the 2-point shot. Force the other team to come down and score. Everybody wants to shoot threes. Well, let them shoot threes. And you'll notice in the first half of the game, they were killing us from the three-point line. They were, because, one, we weren't getting out. We were letting them shoot wide open baskets. We weren't transitioning at all in defense. We weren't helping each other out. We weren't keeping the guys in front of us. So they're shooting wide open threes, and they got guys who can shoot. We don't. And then, we just couldn't keep them out of the paint. We just couldn't. They're rebounding over us. And, I can't blame our guys. It's not like you're not trying hard, but when you got a 7'3", 7'4" guy in the paint that's massive, that's hard. But Poku did a good job. Baisley did a decent job. Omen Uriel, he did a fantastic job of trying to keep Karl Anthony Towns. I thought he played him really, really well out on the perimeter. But we just don't have anything to match the big fellow when he was at Utah. We couldn't match up with Utah as well because we didn't really have anything. The only person who could push him around was Derek Favors, because Derek had the body and wouldn't let him get position. But Poku doesn't have the body. Jeremiah Robinson Earl doesn't have the body to keep him out. Baisley for sure doesn't have the body. We just don't have anybody to keep the guy out of there. And then they were doing a good job of transitioning and then doing mismatches. SGA was trying to guard him a couple times. He had Giddey in the post. I mean, it's hard. Basketball is hard, but you got to play as a team. But that being said, I love our tenacity. I love the way that the Thunder came back. They could have just folded and went away, but they didn't. But what did we do? I think Coach D made a great job of halftime adjustments on what the Thunder needed to do, what the Thunder should and should not do, and you can look at it and see what our first half stats were compared to what the second half stats were. I thought we did a much better job of attacking them, going to the basket, playing team defense, flying all over the place, because that's all you can do when you're outmanned. But the one thing you can do is not take bad shots. Another thing you can do is make sure that you're running the offense. Another thing you can do is understand what your limitations of your game is and not try to do too much. But like I said all year long, the biggest problem with the Thunder was what? When SGA wasn't scoring and everybody else felt like they're the ones that has to do something. And that's not necessarily the case. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do that. And I think that SGA, once he started getting that role the last 20-something games, you look at what our record was that he played. We had a winning record. We were 500 or close to it simply because he was taking the pressure. You didn't have Baisley trying to go to the basket and be all out of control. You didn't have Poku running up and down the court trying to do whatever. You didn't have all these guys trying to do things, or Dort shooting threes every 5 minutes. You didn't have all that, because bring the ball down, give the ball to SGA, let him work his magic. If he can't take you one-on-one, what's he going to do? He's going to kick it out to you and get you a wide-open shot. Or he was doing a good job of hitting Poku in the middle of the paint, and Poku's passing out to the wing or to the three. Shoot the ball. You're right there. That was very frustrating for me. Very, very frustrating to watch that. But let's look at, oh, man. It was just hard watching what the Thunder were doing. And then when I look at the halftime stats, it's just hard. It really is hard because when I look at it, and I'm going, we were 19 of 53, 19 of 51 for 37%. When you look at what the Thunder were doing uh, in overall points in the paint and everything that we had, the Thunder did not play as bad as what the score said. They did not play as bad as what the score said because I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the Thunder halftime stats, and what I should have done is, and what I will do in the future, is get this and pull it over so that you guys can see it. But our Thunder halftime stats were really simple. I should have had them up there, and I will do that in the future. But like I said, it's my first game, and I'll get all my stats and I'll have everything rolling. But Thunder outscored 52 to 65. 3-point percentage, we were 6 of 20. Remember that number, 6 of 20. 36% from the field, 29 rebounds, 16 points in the paint, 6 turnovers. The T-Wolves were 8 for 24, 48% from the field. Like I said, they're getting wide open shots all over the place. But here's the key, 36 points in the paint. 36 points in the paint. Now remember that number too as well, because at the end when we do the final box score, it's going to be interesting when you see what the Thunder did the second half and the adjustments that they made. But bench scoring, the Thunder had 11, the T-Wolves had 8 in the bench scoring. But when you look at, when I do the final box score, you'll see what I'm talking about. But what did we do in the third quarter? We took care of the basketball. And then we made a run at them, which I wrote down what happened from the time we got within range to what happened. Like I said, now next Friday I will have, this Friday when we do stuff like this and when I'm talking about the runs and what happened, I'll have all the plays for you. So all of that will be down so you can see it all, that. But what I said that the keys for the second half were take care of the B-ball, which we did. Don't settle for threes, which we cut back on. Even though we don't match up them, we got to keep guys in front of them. So did we do all those things? Yes, we did. And my key is, Dort, you're not a three-point shooter. When I go back, you'll see what the stats were that. So when the Thunder made the run, this is who the team they had in. Now remember, we were down 52-65. With 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go, we're down 74-76. We had SGA, Dort, Giddey, Poku, and Omayuri in the game when that happened. Okay? That's when we made that run. And you got to love Josh. Let me give him some props. Dude, he gets his hands on more balls. He's got some long arms or something, but he gets his hands on balls. He's just all over the place. I just wish he was an alpha. It's like Kevin Durant. Beautiful player, great player, not an alpha. Can he go? Yes. And I just wish Josh Giddey was more of an alpha mentality because his stats don't really dictate what type of player he can be. But once again, this is only his second year, the beginning of his second year, first game of his second year. Does he have potential? Yes. But you got to have a guy like SGA for Josh to play off of so that all the pressure is not on him, because I don't know necessarily what he can do. But anyway, now, like I said, on Friday, when stuff like this happen in the future, when we have plays like this and we go down and I break it down, I will have the up on the screen for you to see the breakdown of what happened. Okay, 74-76, we got to stop. Poku hit one free throw. Come back, we get a defensive rebound. SGA gets a 2-point shot. Then we get another defensive rebound. SGA on a beautiful assist. All of a sudden, we're up 79-78. Okay? So I'm looking at that like, oh, okay, cool, we got this. 3-point shot. Nope. SGA 2-pointer. Come back. And the 3-pointer by the Wolves. 79-78, so made it 81-79. SGA comes back. Then the Wolves make their play. Man gets a great assist. Was really happy with that. Come back, we get a defensive rebound. Then here we go. Omayuri misses a layup. Then we come back, gets a defensive rebound. SGA, short. Man, Great transition rebound. I mean, transition layup. Because why? Our defense, what did we do? Kept them in front of them, cut down the points in the paint, which had what? The effect on Minnesota or the T Wolves that they weren't getting all the shots they weren't getting before. We weren't giving them open looks. What are long rebounds equal to what? Long shots. We get a steal, come down, nice transition layup. All of a sudden, then we come down. We SGA fouls, which I still wonder about that, but still SGA, you can't make dumb fouls like that, especially when we have the lead. And then here we go. Kendrick Williams, 3-point miss. Why you came down and shot that, I don't know why we did. SGA, terrible mid pass in the lane. Of course, Rudy Gobert comes down and makes a running one-handed shot to end the quarter. And the end of the quarter, it was 87 all. So at this point, my grade for the Thunder at this point after the third quarter, I'm giving the Thunder a solid C plus, B minus, because they could have folded down 16, but what did they do? They came back, and I like the group that he had in there because, like I said, I think they're trying to find out which group works where best, what group, what five works, how does this group work with this group. So I think we're in the process, Coach D and the staff are trying to figure out how this group meshes together. So start the fourth quarter. And I was sitting there, we were at Cat's Tavern watching the game, and the first thing I said was, oh my God, no, I do not like this lineup at all. Remember, the score was 87-87. We had all the momentum, but they hit the shot at the end, which gave them momentum going into the fourth quarter. We come out to the fourth quarter, we're starting with Mann, K-Will, Giddy, Dang, and Baisley. I was like, what are you doing? I am not a fan of this lineup at all. And what happens? Quickly, bam, we go down 87-92. Then all of a sudden, Omer Uri comes in for Dang. And, Dang's a good little player, but he's just not ready for this. And he may be in the future, but he ain't ready right now. He's just not. Omer Uri, the thing I like about the kid, he plays hard, really, really hard. I like what he does. And, when you can see the box score here, what he did. I mean, you look at him, 1 for 5, 4 points, but the kid played really, 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 really well, and I was excited about watching him. So he did good, and he came in. The kid plays hard. He has to learn how to finish at the rim. We have to learn how to finish at the rim. And I can tell you, if my kids were looking at the game, the first thing they said is, hey, guys, the first rule of basketball, ball you man. First rule of basketball. Maybe I need to put that up on the screen. First rule of basketball. Ball you man. When you're inside the paint, and I played inside, and you got guys that are significantly taller than you are, you have to do a jump hook to get the ball up. If you just try to do a regular shot, they're gonna change it. They're gonna do something different. You have to do a jump hook because it's the first rule. Ball you man. Jump hook. You can kick it up nice and high over them. They can't get to it. I don't care how tall they are. They're not going to block your shot because they're right there at the rim without goaltending. But when you're trying to put it in front and you're right there, yeah, they're going to alter it and you got to do something different and throw it up high. Just turn your body and do a little jump hook. It's not complicated. You're in the league. Go work on your skill set. And all the kids that I work with, I tell them, hey, jump hooks, work on your skill set. You're inside and you're small. My little guards, little guys that I train, they go to the basket. They have a nice little jump hook or a floater or a teardrop. When you're in the paint and you got big guys in there, you have to learn how to do the floater or the jump hook. Because the jump hook, your hand just goes up. There's no spin on the ball. The ball will hit multiple times to go in. If you flick your wrist, the ball's going to have spin on it. Once it hits the rim, the chance of it going in is slim. So, boom, hand goes up, throws it in. You have a chance to go in. The ball will hit the rim a couple times. It will be nice and soft. There won't be any spin. But it's ball you man. And if the Thunder will realize that and start working on that, they'll make a lot more shots in the paint, which you have. So, that being said, Thunder have a hard time scoring. We come back and we cut it between 5. It's 98-103. With 5 minutes to go. And we have SGA, Dort, Giddy, Muscala, and Poku at this point. Now, we have a four possession thing where we stop them. We have four possessions that he shoots the ball. Two of them weren't even close. I don't understand why Josh or SGA just didn't take the ball over. But one of those possessions, we get a steal, and Josh tries to throw a cross-court pass. I'm like, what are you doing? Bring the ball out. And I was talking about that in the very beginning of the show. Bring the ball out. Understand what we're doing. Let's get a good possession here and get a good shot. But did we do that? No. And then Poku catches it and it's flashed to the basket, gets a great pass, can't finish. They throw, I think SGA threw him a pass, Dort threw him a pass, couldn't finish either one. And I like the young man, but hey, you know, half court stuff, you're not physical enough, even though you put on 20 pounds. I guess the Thunder's like, look, we're going to ride with the guy, and that's fine. I'm just not a fan. I just don't think that he's ready to play at this level. Now, in G League, you can get away with that stuff. Out here, they're too big, too fast, too athletic for you to get away with what you're getting away with. So I'm just not a fan necessarily of his. But, you know, once again, we got too many players trying to make plays. The ball goes SGA, then Giddey, then everybody else. SGA, then Giddey, and then everybody else. Those two should have the ball, slow it down. But I blame SGA and Giddey for those possessions. One of you all have to make a play. If you're trying, and I get it, you're cutting down and you're making the play to this guy and he's not going to finish. And what did Jordan say? Why am I going to pass this guy? He ain't going to finish. I might as well try. Now, granted, it is game one, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go because it is game one. But on the other side of that, in the future, Josh, when we're in SGA, we're making a run, take the damn ball out, slow it down. Let's get a good basket. Guys, come on. Let's get a good basket. Let's figure out what we need to do and how we need to finish. It's not difficult. Oh, boy. And then here's the end of the game stats that we talked about. Remember what I told you, what the stats were previously? Now look at these stats. Remember what I told you what the second half stats were? Y'all remember that when I was talking about that? Let me see if I can find them here again. If I can get this to go down. The second half stats were really simple. Here you go. At the halftime, score 52-65. Final score 108-115. 3-point percentage, Thunder 14 for 45. First half, 6 for 20. So that meant they went 8 for 25 the second half. 36% from the field, 38.4. 57 rebounds. Remember, we only had 29 at half. We only had 16 points in the paint, and we had 38 in the game. Now, think about that for a minute. Remember, I told you two stats. Look at what the T-Wolves were. 8 for 24 the first half. Second half, 2 for 38. 10 for 38. So they were 2 of 14 for the second half, which allowed us what? To get back in the game because they started clinking threes. We were playing defense, weren't giving them wide open looks. And then all of a sudden, look at their field goal percentage. 48.1 to 41.5. Like I said, great adjustments by the Thunder staff. Okay? They end up out-rebounding us by 2 instead of 3. But here's the key. Points in the paint. The Thunder had 16. They had 36. They ended up with 38. We ended up with 38. They ended up with 50. Bench scoring, our bench outscored them 36 to 30. But think about that for a minute. Look at what the Thunder did right there. They cut down on their ability to shoot open threes. Why? Because we were moving around. We're keeping guys in front of us. We're getting hands in their face. They were not shooting. We weren't giving them shots in the paint. We were cutting it out. We were playing defense as a group, keeping the ball out of paint, cutting down on what Gobert could do. And let's face it, Karl Anthony Towns, he wants to shoot threes. He doesn't want to go in there and fight. So That allowed the Thunder to get back in the game. Like I said, great adjustment by the Thunder coaching staff while allowing the Thunder to change momentum, change what they were doing, and you can see at the end of the box score what happened. But 45 times is just not very good. 14 to 45, that's just too many threes. We're not good enough, but once again, you're catching the ball in the middle. For some reason, we're kicking it out to the corner. Knock down the mid range, please. Knock, excuse me. Knock down the mid range. It's right there. You're right there. Why do we have to pass the ball to the corner? And I'm going to harp on that, and I hope that this continues to not be a trend where the Oklahoma City Thunder will figure it out and understand what we're supposed to do. The object is to score. And last year what we were doing is we weren't taking as many threes when we started winning, and now we're back to where we were in the beginning of last year, shooting a bunch of threes. We're not very good shooting. We were 28th in the league in shooting last year, three-point percentage. And I talked about that on the show. We were 28th in scoring at 103. What do we have tonight? 108. We have to average what? Like I said, 111 points a game to 115 to be competitive. That's what I said on my show, on the Unpopular Hour. If we want to be successful, that's what we're going to have to do. Second thing is, we were 28th in the league in three-point percentage. 14 to 45 ain't going to get it done. You're back on the bottom again. We're not a three-point shooting team. I know we got the best three-point shooting or best shooting coach in the league. He's not going to fix it in 2 months. I say pull up, knock down mid-ranges, get that done. Then, if you're open for threes in the common flow of the offense, great. But catching the ball in the middle and kicking it to the end, that's not in the flow of offense. That's the correct plan, direct plan for the coaches. Shoot the ball in the middle. Can you not make a mid-range? If you don't, get his ass off the court. And that's the way I feel about that. I'm not going to be as fired up as I normally am, and I'm just saying I'm trying to be good about this. But anyway, here's the Thunder box score. SGA, 12 of 23, 2 for 6 from 3. And he did okay. There's a couple threes that he probably could have done a little differently, but 2 for 6 from 3. 6 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. And he and Giddey were great on the defensive end, helping out down low against Towns and Gobert down low. So they did a great job. Josh, 14 points. I need at least 4 more out of you, but not a bad day. 6 for 14 in field goals, 2 for 7. I like the fact that he had the second most field goal attempts. I like that. I think you need to be more around 16, 18, but that's just me. 2 for 7 from 3. Our 2 best players were 4 for 13 right there from 3. And then if you want to add Dort, we were 5 of 19. That's not going to get it done. But anyway, Giddey, 14 points, 11 boards, another double-double, which he is just a double-double machine. 4 turnovers, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. And unlike Westbrook, he actually plays defense and gets his rebounds the correct way, not the cheap way where you're cheating and not worrying about your man and running at the basket to get free throws. Get rebounds. Dort, 10 points, 3 for 12. From the field, that's too many shots, but I think he needs to be around more like about 10, 8 to 10 shots. 3-pointers, you need to be about 3 to 4. Cut that down. He did have 6 rebounds with 1 TO. Robinson Earl, 2 for 3. He needs to have some of Dort's shots, but let's face it, he was down low battling, and I'm proud of him and how hard he played. Even though he had 6 points, he was 2 for 3, 2 for 3. Both of his shots from 3 points, 5 rebounds, but he did a great job on Gobert as best he could, being outmanned, out-talled, out-physicaled. I thought he did a fantastic job. Poku, 11 points, 3 for 10, 2 for 5, 7 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 3 assists. That's about the line for him. That's about what I expect of him, except I want him shooting 5 to 6 times. I don't want him shooting that many times. Trey Mann, 12 points, 4 for 11. That's about where I want Trey. 12 points, up from 10 points a game last year. He can maintain that. That's not bad. I want his shooting percentage to be a lot better. 3-point, he needs to be, he's right at that. I mean, that's 40% or so. So I really can't complain about that. He missed some easy shots that he normally would make, but 4 for 11, not a bad. 2 for 5 from 2, 2 from 6 from 3. He can improve and knock down the mid range stuff, but like I said, he missed a couple shots he normally can make. But I like Trey right there about the 12-point per game stat line. 2 rebounds, 2 assists. I can need more out of my guard, scoring or giving the ball up a little bit more. J Dub, 6 points, 2 for 2, 1 for 1. I thought he played pretty good. Hope his eye's okay. I can't believe the officials. I mean, he got elbowed. Now, it wasn't intentional, and I'm not saying it wasn't, but his elbow did come down and hit him right the eye. I don't know how you let that go, but I'm not an official, and it's their opinion, and they do what they do. But it was not a dirty play. He just got his face up under his arm as he was coming through trying to dunk the ball. But nice little outing for the rookie. I thought he played really well. I think he has potential to get even more and do more things for the Thunder, but I liked what I saw out of him tonight. Hopefully, like I said, he'll be back Friday night to play, so hopefully we'll do that. And we'll find out more tomorrow with Thunder News, but for sure we'll have the whole lineup and ready to go on the Unpopular Hour on Friday afternoon, giving you the keys to the game for the Thunder. Dang, 0 points, 0 for 3, 0 for 2, 1 rebound. The kid just looks overmatched to me from now. Now, maybe he'll get better. This is his first game, so I'm going to cut him some slack, but he just really looks overmatched with like a deer in his headlights, but we shall see. He's 6'10", whatever. We got to give him a chance. It's game one. Baisley, 7 points, 2 for 5, 1 for 1, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He's just Baisley. It's Baisley. His normal numbers. He still tries to do a couple things that he's just not capable of. It's just really frustrating to me with him. Kendrick Williams, I think he's okay. I like the kid. He's a starter. I still like Wiggins more. I like Roby even more, but Roby's not there, and they kept Kendrick. But like I said, I'm not in practice. I don't see what the coaches see. Clearly, they like what Kendrick does. He plays hard, no question. I just think that he plays a little out of himself offensively. Sometimes it makes some decisions that I don't necessarily agree with, like the three-pointer he shot tonight. Wasn't a fan of that. 2 for 7 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. He can get better, but like I said, not a bad outing. But I mean, I'm just not that big of a fan. But I think he has potential. We shall see. Muscala, 2 points, 1 for 4, 0 for 3. He looked rusty like SGA did. He just did not get enough minutes, I don't think. But still, he's just such a liability defensively and in the paint to rebound. It's just, if you're not knocking down threes, I can't keep you on the court. That's just what we've always said about Muscala. I have not changed. If you're not knocking down shots, you can't be on the court for me. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about you, bro. Orban Euro, 4 points, 1 for 5. Like I said, brother, you need to learn the jump hook. Learn the jump hook because you're a smaller guy. He plays ridiculously hard. I saw what he did in the summer. He gives you 135%. I like his effort, but you still got to be able to score, bro. You got to be able to score at the basket. He has a couple crucial misses of shots that he has got to finish. Now, he may finish down the road. We shall see what happens. And he can only get better. This is 4th or 5th year, so 4th or 5th team. So we'll see how he does, and hopefully he can get there. I'm not gonna rule him out after one game. I like his effort. I like how he plays hard. But we shall see if he continues to get better. Wiggins and Williams, Jay Will did not play. Of course, he's the kid from Arkansas that dominated Chet in college. But for whatever reasons, those were coaches' decisions for neither one of those guys to play. So we'll see what happens going forward. But overall, I'm very pleased with what I saw from the Thunder. Uh, we're just still young. God, we're young. And like I was saying tonight while watching the game, if we just had a couple veterans, if we just had a couple veterans, dude, we really, really could do something. But we're just a couple, one or two veterans short. We just don't have that leadership. We have SGA, but we have nobody else to really go there with him. And I think Josh, like I said, in another, by the end of this year, middle to end of this year, hopefully his maturation process will get him there. Next year, I think he should close to being there. I like what I see out of Josh. I really do. So we shall see what's going to happen. But I'm gonna give the Thunder probably a C today, a C plus. I'm gonna give them a C plus, B minus because they got down 16 and they could have folded the tent, but they did not. They came back. They played hard in the third quarter. They got back in the game, but just some mistakes once again. Into the first quarters, into the second quarters, third quarter, fourth quarter tend to be the history of the Thunder not making plays when they're necessary, making bad decisions, turnovers, different things like that just kills us. But I do like the fact that we did not give up. We came back. We made a game out of it, and we gave them more of a game than what they thought. The spread was what -11, and which was the highest spread. But the Thunder gave them all they wanted, losing 108 to 115. Gave them all they wanted. And the game was closer than what the score was. Don't get me wrong. We gave them all we wanted. We just could not finish at the end of the fourth quarter. Could not finish when we had them on the ropes in the third quarter. Makes them just could not finish. We had those 5 or 6 possessions where we made good shots. We just could not finish at the rim. And we could not make open shots. That's what it comes down. Making plays in every sport is what it comes down to. So that being said, I love our Thunder. I love what they can do. I'm looking forward to Friday night, but even more Sunday when they return for their first home game. And so I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what happens with that because I want to see them. I mean, watching them on TV is one thing, but actually going to the game and seeing how the guys perform in person makes a big impression on me so I can really see in real game time what's really happening. Are they sliding over what's happening? Because it's hard to really see with the TV because it's kind of, just centered. Whereas when I'm there at Paycom, I can actually see what happens. Oh, he didn't get over. He was there. Why didn't you see that play? What you did? You saw the guy coming. They made that play earlier. Why didn't you get there? So those things that I can more tell and more be able to translate and get done. Hey, big boy, I know. Where's time for bed? I know, baby. My boy Ace, he's right here. I know, baby. What? I know. We're going to go to bed. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of After the Storm, OKC Thunder. Like I said, season number 2 and episode, what is this, 55, 56 overall that we've done. So really pleased. I want to thank everybody. And in fact, I didn't even get a chance to come thank our sponsors, which let me do that right now. I want to thank my sponsors, Collaborative Logic. They've done a fantastic job of getting me ready. They're about to help us expand so that you guys can do call-ins and give your opinion on what you saw or heard at the game, and I can kind of give you a breakdown or talk to you about what I think. Also, SRB, my guy Mark Long. If you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, those are the people to talk to. Oak Grove Trucking and my guy Jose Fierro. If you got any trucking needs, he is the man. And of course, Greg and Max Nafee at Nafco. Max was on the show today. Was happy to see him. He came and showed up while we were at Ned's this afternoon because every other Wednesday we had Ned's and Rococo's. But let's say YNB, last but not least, family owned and operated since 1912. The bank that makes things happen. They are an equal housing lender, a member of the FDIC, and of course they are a remote live stream sponsor for women, black, and minority-owned businesses throughout Oklahoma City area. But if you want to pre-qualify online, you can at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. If you have any car, houses, boats, RVs, property, land you want to buy, buildings you want to purchase, they are the people to talk to. And then, like I said, you can pre-qualify online or go in and see Joe Horn, Nathan Taylor, Carson Wright, or I don't know about the other guys there. I'm not unlike Drew. I'm not gonna call you. I can't. And then, of course, if you're there in the morning, you can see Randy and Carolyn. Of course, is there all time. There, Carolyn Henthorn. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching the first season 2, first edition of After the Storm. Look forward to seeing everybody on Friday.